continues next week. I can't believe what we have witnessed.
Goal from the 6. Philip Lindsay up the middle into the end zone. Touchdown, Colorado. 11th rushing touchdown of the season for Philip Lindsay, his 33rd career.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome into the Buffalo Stampede. It's a tough one here in Tempe. Buffaloes still have never won here at Sun Devil Stadium as they get beat and give up a lead late in this ball game. 41-30 was the final of Colorado falling to Arizona State. Hi, everybody. I'm Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, along with Coach Gary Barnett. Coach, this one stings a little bit when you lose it this way.
Every loss stings, but when you have a chance to win it and you can't quite pull it off, then it does hurt more, especially when you're scrambling trying to get to the 6th game like Colorado's trying to do. I think Mike in his interview said that missed opportunities, and that really was it. I mean, these two teams are about equal, and you come in, you're going to have the game's going to have ebb and flows, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to but there's going to be opportunities, and you either take advantage of them or you don't. Usually the team that takes advantage of them wins a game, and that's just what happened tonight. We did not take advantage of the mismatches and opportunities we had, and you know what, Arizona State did.
Boy, take advantage of opportunities. You had senior receivers that dropped what would have been a couple of touchdown passes. Number one, upperclassmen got to make plays. Number two, I thought a young quarterback got rattled after a couple were dropped on him.
Well, it's hard to say because we're not over there with him and that sort of stuff, but there's no question that those passes got dropped. Yeah. And but we came back from that, and we went ahead, and we had a 10-point lead at a time that we couldn't protect. And so to me, that comes down to your offense's job is to get you ahead, and the defense's job is to let you stay in that position. And it just felt like the defense played a really, really poor second half tonight, and that really hurt them.
Buffaloes, by the way, were 6 of 10 on third downs in the first half, went 0 of 6 in the second half. Now that the pressure kind of mounts a little bit for this Buffs football team. We'll talk about that in a moment. But during the game, one of the Buff greats, J.J. Flanagan, was on the sideline here in Tempe.
Well, it's always good to come here and see Colorado play every time. It brings back so many memories for myself and being on a team that when you love each other, you care for each other, you want to play for each other. So anytime I can come back after all these years and be a part of this program and everything they're doing, and that's the ups and the downs, I want to make sure I'm a part of it. Oh, it was a great time last night. Have a band with actually former ASU members and also, of course, myself as a Colorado guy. So it was great to put together something that these guys can come out and enjoy. And a lot of alumni came out, and it was just a great, wonderful time. I think some of the best times were we're definitely traveling with these guys. Sometimes you get a chance to room with these guys outside and have conversations on the plane. And get to really know players. And I think that's what happened with our team back then. And so those are some of my best memories, to be able to get to know each other off the field and to be able to be around each other, to work out and train together and get to know each other, know that, hey, you know what, you can count on me. And that's what we always want to do, make sure our teammates can count on us.
Good to hear from a Buff great there, and J.J. Flanagan. Colorado falling though by 11, 41-30 to Arizona State here in Tempe, Arizona, as we continue with Coach Gary Barnett. Well, Coach, you're looking for that number 6 victory this season to become bowl eligible for the second year in a row. Buffs haven't done that since the 04-05 season, since this guy was coaching. Now with 2 games remaining, that pressure begins to rise a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, you know what, Mark? Now you got to win 1 or 2 games that you're not supposed to win.
Yeah.
And last year we did that. This year, that's the challenge right now. Both these two teams are probably playing at a higher level than we are right now, and somehow we got to find a way to win one of those. I know Buffs want to win 2, but realistically, let's find one.
Right.
That has to happen for them to extend their season.
How do you approach something like this when you have a painful loss like this late in the season, pressure beginning to mount? As a coach, how do you try to settle these guys down and get them refocused a little bit in practice this week?
Well, it depends on how you've built the team. If you've built this around senior leadership, then that's what you appeal to. If you've built this team around, if you've had to do a lot of the motivation, then you know what? You got to go do more motivation is what it boils down to, because teams should be able to take themselves to a certain level, and then coaches take you where you can't take yourselves. But if you don't take yourself as a team to that level, then it's up to the coaches to get you there. And so that's what this team right now is stuck. Mike McIntyre and his assistant coaches are trying to get them up to a certain level. because this team hasn't taken itself to that level.
And this USC team they have coming in next week, probably the most talented team, and without question, got the best quarterback in Sam Darnold, maybe in the country.
In the country. Yeah. I really believe that. Yeah, this is a talented team. You saw them run through all around Arizona State. So we got our work cut out for us. We're going to have to play unbelievable defense next week.
Be a big challenge. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff. By the way, it's Hall of Fame weekend, also Senior Day. Obviously, 23 seniors will play their final game at home. As the bus fall here in Tempe, Arizona. Coming up next in the Stampede, former quarterback and our sideline reporter, Bobby Passamento, is going to join us.
Montez, the deep ball, down the sideline. It's there in stride. Shea Fields, touchdown Buffs.
And we continue here in Tempe after a tough loss for the Buffaloes as they fall by 11, giving up the lead midway through the fourth quarter, end up falling 41-30. We're now joined by our sideline reporter, former Buffs quarterback Bobby Passamento. You've gone through tough losses before. This one here is going to leave a mark, isn't it?
This one's going to be hard to swallow, hard to watch on film, hard to correct, because you just don't want to have to watch this again because, I mean, it was in their grasp. It could have gotten ugly really early, and just opportunities were missed. Yeah,
and that's the toughest part about this. The one thing I thought in this ball game, Steven Montez had a couple of touchdown passes dropped, including a great play call by the offensive staff and a flea flicker, had a wide open Shea Fields. Devin Ross drops another one. That seemed to shake the young quarterback a little bit.
Yeah, I think it did. I mean, because when you're young and you make a good throw and a guy you rely on drops it, you know, it gets in your head a bit. And you could tell the next couple snaps, he didn't feel real comfortable in the pocket. But he came back and made another nice throw that was dropped. So, I mean, he bounced back and played well. But, you know, when you go on the road in the conference and you miss opportunities, it's going to be hard to win football games.
Well, and as well, I would have to think a young quarterback, and he did throw for 345 yards in this game. But then you probably begin to press a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, when you guys you rely on are dropping it, then you got to think, well, I got to do more. I got to do more. And then he stands in the pocket a little too long, tries to do too much with his feet, takes sacks. So it turns into a snowball effect, and those big plays are missed.
Well, you kind of got the sense as this game wore on there, the offense started to struggle a little bit, and then that defense, which had been out there a lot, began to give up big plays and couldn't seem to find its traction.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona State pounded the ball. They had two pretty good backs, you know, and the defense just had to be on the field and and like you said, they got worn out, and finally they hit a couple of those runs and made big plays, and they were just on their heels after a while.
The Buffaloes end up falling here in their third to last game of the season. Did not pick up win number 6 that made them bowl eligible. We'll talk more about that as we continue. Right now, we caught up with the show before the ball game with Buffs great and assistant coach Darian Hagan.
Now, remember how last year you against these guys you hit the hole, you decisive runner? It's gonna happen again because the same guys. You just gotta, when you see it, you gotta hit it. Just remember, keep your head up the field, not down. Let's go high knees, high knees. Get them legs up. Let's go lunge, lunge. Hey, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you. Tight, tight, tight. Get your pads down. You're standing up, then you drop it. You're standing up and you drop it. Stay here all the time. Let's get these guys to rally. Let's go, baby. Go meet the fellas. Let's put it together. Let's put it together! Let's go, baby. Let's get it. Chase Sanders. Never thought you'd be on this big stage, huh? Be on this big stage, you never thought it. Give me your Samoan child. There you go, baby. Ride the wave! Ride the wave! Don't look at the quarterback. You got to get your eyes on your read so you know what's happening in front of you. Looking at the quarterback, you'll miss the read and the cut, right? Read it, take it, take it. High and tight. Finish through. Them hips feel good today, huh? Let's go, baby. Stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. Stay flat. Good hands, good hands. This muggy is mug. I'm glad we live where we live. This is too hot, man, to be living in. I can live here. One more. Coming back. Still got it, D.
Well, the Buffaloes end up falling, sitting at 5-5, 2-5 in Pac-12 conference play. And Bobby, you look ahead of this thing now. Colorado does not pick up that needed 6th victory to become bowl eligible for the second time in 2 years. First time when that happens, it will have happened since Gary Barnett was coaching his team back in 04 and 05. And now the pressure begins to mount a little bit for this team.
Yeah, and now you got to look to your seniors, right? They got 2 games left if they can't get to 6. And I know this senior class wants to be the group that does repeat the bowl appearance. So those leaders are going to have to step up, going to have to get these guys to rally because they got 2 really tough games coming up.
Does this become an interesting week of practice to see how this team responds?
Yeah, because the way this loss happened, you're going to have to look for some leadership, and leadership's truly going to come out this week because there's probably some guys who are angry, probably some guys who aren't happy with their teammates because of what happened, and that's life in football. But now your leaders are going to have to step up and rein the guys in and get them focused for next Saturday.
I guess it'll be good to be back home next week with USC coming to town. It's a 2 o'clock game, by the way. It's senior day. 23 seniors playing their last game at Folsom Field. It's a Hall of Fame weekend as well. You got a lot going on, and this team does seem to play better at home.
Yeah, they definitely play better at home. And it's going to be a special weekend. It's senior day, Hall of Fame, all that great stuff of people being back in the building. But I mean, they got a pretty talented football team coming into town, so it's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be interesting to see how they respond.
You look at this Pac-12 right now, and I asked both Bobby and Gary in the pregame, who's the best team in the Pac-12? You want to say Washington, but USC's probably as talented or more talented than anybody.
Yeah, I'd say USC's more talented than Washington. They probably don't play to a consistent level as Washington does. Yeah. They've been kind of up and down in some games, but I think they'll be ready to come into Boulder next Saturday and play the Buffs.
And of course, it doesn't get any easier after that. Their final game, they got a bye week that week after USC, and then it's on the road against Utah to wrap up the regular season. Now, tough one for the Colorado Buffaloes. They've got some work to do. Need one over the last 2 games of the season. We're going to wrap it up talking football. Coming up next, we're talking basketball. We'll connect with head coach Tad Boyle ahead of their season opener coming up on Friday at the Coors Event Center. Boy, he missed Dallas Walton open. Now he gets it to him. Goes for the dunk, and he tomahawks with the right hand. The big fella reaching out and flushing it down. And we continue with the Buffalo Stampede television show. We're in the new offices of Tad Boyle. Boy, awful nice around here, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, we're upgrading a little bit. It's been 8 years, so maybe a little time for a makeover, if you will.
You got something really neat here that's just over your right shoulder. A coaching legacy line from where you came from, which it goes all the way back to the beginning of basketball, peach baskets and everything.
Yeah, you know, there's 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. This is 5 degrees of James Naismith. You know, I tell people, Mark, I've never had an original idea in my life, but my buddy Mark Turgeon at Maryland, I was in his offices this summer and saw it. He had it, and I said, you know what, that looks pretty good. Especially for recruiting, you know, it's a great conversation piece for parents and kids when they come in here, and it does remind you how lucky you are to have played for the coaches you played for, and it goes all the way back to James Naismith.
Yeah, James Naismith, Fall Allen, Dean Smith, Larry Brown, to Tad Boyle, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yep.
We talk so many times about facilities, and the offices are part of that. Kids come in here, parents come in here. It's a big part of what you do, isn't it, in terms of drawing kids to see you?
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, and you know, again, this isn't in terms of all the projects that have gone on in our athletic department. This isn't the biggest one by any chance, but I think it's an important one. You know, we have an NBA wall that we talk a lot about with kids and families when they come in here. We just got that updated because Derek White now is in the NBA, so hopefully that has to continually be updated year after year. But yeah, it's important, and also, you know, our staff. You know, we've got a new student work area. We have a lot of managers that have a lot of responsibilities. They need a place to work. We got recruiting materials going out. So a film office, Bill Carton has been in the same office for 8 years. He needed some upgrades. So really had, again, I am approaching this like year one.
Sure.
And we need to upgrade, and we did.
Well, it certainly looks nice here in the CU men's basketball offices. You know, one of the things about college athletics is about leadership, and one thing the Pac-12 is doing is starting a Pac-12 leadership program for student athletes.
The Pac-12 Conference, it's a tremendous way to have the student-athlete voice heard, where you take all of the legislative details that you want to see change, and you go to San Francisco and you cooperate with the athletic director, the SWA, and the FAR, which are kind of like the 3 top staff members, and you discuss what you'd like to see as a change in the Pac-12. 11 other athletes, a total of 12 for the Pac-12, obviously, 1 representative from each school as far as the student athletes. I thought what was really interesting, though, is that the Pac-12 is the first and I believe the only conference that includes the voice of the student athletes. So I thought that was a tremendous opportunity, and I was extremely grateful to go as a representative and kind of give everybody a voice at CU. When you give a voice to the people that should have the biggest voice, it's not only an honor, but you really want to do a good job. You really want to feed all the voices that you hear day in and day out including on the committee, to this council to make sure that conditions can only improve.
As we continue here in the Stampede with head coach Tad Boyle, the Colorado Buffaloes. Last Monday, the Buffs had an exhibition game with the School of Mines. Ends up being a 21-point win. Give us a report card on that game.
It was okay. You know, look, I played 13 guys. That's way too many. Obviously, that's for a basketball rotation. It's about 4 or 5 too many. So wanted to give everybody a chance, everybody a look. So it wasn't real pretty, but did some good things. I watched the film, and the effort was good. Interior defense needs to get better. Our rebounding I was extremely disappointed in. But again, Mines is a good team. It was a good test for us, and we're finding out, day by day as this team comes to practice and has these kind of scrimmages and exhibitions, how much we need to work on.
What's the toughest thing through camp leading up to the regular season to really get a sense of with the team until you get into real game action? Really,
what the reason we played the exhibition is what are the freshmen going to do when the lights come on? And even a guy like Naaman Wright, who sat out last year and obviously played 2 years at Missouri, but he and the 7 freshmen, what's going to happen when those lights come on? Because it's a different atmosphere, and you want kids to play and perform on the floor in a game situation like they do in practice, and that's the unknown as a coach, and sometimes the unknown as a player.
Buffaloes open up the regular season on November 10th against Northern Colorado. That's not just a walk in the park, that ball.
No, it's not. It's going to be their Super Bowl. Yeah. They've got 3 guards. They had 2 kids sitting out last year, an all-conference guard coming back from last year's team that are really terrific players, that they're well coached. They're going to test us, especially early. I'm glad it's the opener because I think our guys hopefully will be dialed in, but it is not a walk in the park, and Northern Colorado, in my opinion, is going to finish certainly in the top half of the Big Sky and maybe win it. They're a terrific team.
Well, good luck.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Buffs and Bears, November 10th at the Coors Event Center. They'll open up the regular season. Coming up next here in the Stampede, we'll head across the hallway and talk women's basketball with J.R. Payne.
It off to McGuire. Ball tipped through and stolen away. Robinson's got it, top of the key, crosses inside, tough shot, and will scoop it.
And we continue with the Buffalo Stampede, getting ready for the CU women's basketball season just around the corner. In fact, first 2 on the road. We'll talk more about that here in a couple of minutes. J.R. Payne joining us from her offices here. Well, tell us, how's camp been going so far? A lot to work on, I'd guess, with all the newness.
Yes, so many new players. So things, actually the last week or so have really picked up. We moved pretty slowly the first several weeks, just trying to get everybody kind of acclimated, but we're picking up speed and ready to go.
More teaching, I would imagine, with a team like this.
Oh, yes, lots of teaching.
You have to be more patient?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I ordered an extra large patient pill, but anyway, no. Lots of patience, but lots of growth and challenges and overcoming obstacles and things like that. So it's been fun.
I'd have to think, and I've talked to Tad about this because he's got so much newness. You love coaching, and that's teaching.
Absolutely.
So this has to be fun for you.
Yeah, no, it is fun, and it's fun to see, the most fun is when the light bulbs turn on, and everybody, those aha moments when people start to get it. So that's when it gets really fun.
What is the toughest thing maybe to measure or gauge when you're just practicing and you're not in a real game with the lights on and a crowd? You really can't get a sense of what leading up to your first game.
I don't know. It's just difficult playing against the same people every day. We mix up the teams, but we only have 13 players on our team, so it's not like you can really change up who's guarding who and things like that. So that's the biggest thing, is how are we going to do when the lights come on and we face a new opponent?
I know you evaluate every year when you get done with the year and start looking ahead of the next season. Do you change much? Do you look at your system and go, maybe we could tweak that?
Well, it kind of depends on the strength of your roster and the strength of your returners and what you have coming in. I think we'll have some new things that we're doing this year, but there's a lot of things that worked for us last year, so we'll stick with that as well.
The one thing I do know that worked for you, you had a very good guard in Kennedy Leonard.
Yes.
That's a nice, that makes a coach sleep better when you got a player like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, having a great point guard, having great seniors like Recca and Coriel, having a good returning core is always a good thing for a coach.
We always say about Kennedy Leonard, one of the great gym rats in the history of the game. She's expected to have a great season for the Colorado Buffaloes this season. Just recently, JR and the women's basketball program had their one-on-one event.
From the moment I met her, she was laughing, having a great time, talking with all of her teammates, dancing. We danced up a storm about 3, like, they're not ready.
I promised Aubrey that I wouldn't embarrass her. She's like, I'm so nervous. I said, girl, we got this. Right? Everybody say, Aubrey!
What do you tell young girls that love sports about how to hit your goals and how to deal with negativity or pessimism when you're playing?
You know, if you work hard and you dedicate yourself to things and you love other people and you love other things as much as they give back to you, I think that's probably the most important thing.
What is a fun fact that you would never guess about Lex?
When I was in 6th grade, I was a cheerleader.
So my question for you, Annika, is what is one major accomplishment you wish to achieve in your lifetime?
So I want to be a coach when I'm older, so I would like to make the biggest impact that I can on the young athletes that I coach. I think that's really important to me, and try to make the world a better place.
Thank you for coming. Thank y'all for showing up. This is fun. Let's go Buffs! Let's go!
It looked like a fun event, that one-on-one event for J.R. Payne, the women's basketball team. Good time?
Oh, the best event. If you have not been a part of it, it is one of the best events around. Loved it.
What exactly are the folks learning about the players and something
Well,
like that?
the neatest thing about it is that it involves leaders, women, female leaders in our community on our campus, and we get to have them meet with our players, learn about our players. Our players get to interact with these strong women on our campus, and so that's the best part. But they're learning about their families and their history and why they chose CU and a lot of different things.
I was going to say it probably is more beneficial to the young women than it is the guests that come in and help them out.
I definitely think so. You know, they make connections with deans on campus and professors and staff members, and it's a great mentor program.
All right, let's talk about jumping into the season now. Well, you're jumping into the deep end of the pool. This is a tough way to start here. On the road on Friday night at Sanford, and then at North Carolina before you come home.
Yeah, I mean, go big or go home, right? We figure we've got some great returners. We've got a lot of young talent, and we might as well just jump in with 2 feet.
What was the one thing from last season you thought we have to improve upon going into the new campaign?
Rebounding, definitely. Yeah, that was an area that we struggled all year long, but an area that I think we've improved.
All right. Well, good luck on a tough road trip.
All right. Thank you.
All right. J.R. Payne, it's a Friday, Sunday, Sanford, and then at North Carolina before coming home the 15th versus Florida Atlantic. By the way, this weekend, we got football, the final home game for the Buffaloes. The USC Trojans in town. Our coverage on the Colorado Football Network is underway at noon. Kick up between the Buffs and the Trojans at 2 o'clock. We'll talk to you next time here on the Stampede.